Hey guys, you're welcome to Waves Africa Developer Channel, and today we are going to be talking about the smart assets on Waves blockchain. So in this video, you'll be learning what are smart assets, how smart assets work, and in this video also you'll be creating your own first smart assets. So let's get started, guys. First, what are smart assets? Smart assets are assets with an attached script which validates every transaction within that asset. In our previous video, we talked about assets on the Waves blockchain, but today we are talking about smart assets. So these smart assets are not just assets like every other assets on Waves blockchain. Just like you have assets on Ethereum, which are ERC20 tokens. But in this case, smart assets are assets that have scripts. The scripts here are codes that are written in Write programming language. Okay, Write is the official programming language for writing smart contracts and building the apps on the Waves blockchain. So these smart assets have this code, the script written in Write. So this script is like conditions, and this condition determines the behavior of these assets. So you can use this script to determine who can send, who can receive, and who can trade an asset. You can also determine how much this asset can be traded and which other cryptocurrency should this asset be traded with. Okay, so not just that this asset is different from the usual default asset on Waves blockchain in behavior. Also, there is difference in the fee structure when interacting with smart assets. But before then, to write your smart assets, to write your smart asset script, you have to head over to ide.wavesplatform.com. It is a integrated development environment where you write codes in Ride for your script and your smart account. Okay, so usually you need 0.001 waves to transfer token on the Waves blockchain. But if this token or asset is a smart asset, you will need 0.005 waves. There's a difference there. And also, if a DApp script invocation with an attached payment that is nominated in a smart asset, what it means here is if the script invocation while you are interacting with a DApp on a DApp on the Waves blockchain, and this DApp is trying to make a payment in an asset, if this asset that is used for payment in that DApp is a smart asset, rather than costing 0.005 waves, it will now cost 0.009 waves. Okay, and also to keep users of assets on the Waves blockchain safe, you can only add a script to an asset during creation. So it's not cool if an asset that has been created before, all of a sudden the issuer of this asset brings in a script that with conditions that might not be convenient with you. Okay, so what happens is this script must be deployed into the assets during creation. Like you can see in this picture here, it's taken from token asset creation process. Now once this once you are in this place creating an asset, all you have to do here, if you don't have the script already or you don't have the technical abilities to write a script, but in the future for your project you have plans to make this asset a smart asset, all you have to do is to copy this code here. Just copy this text here and paste into this box. This text here is not something special, actually. It's just a base 64 format of the word true. So that's a way of writing true in base 64 format. Remember, when you want to add an asset, a script to your asset, it's actually you compile it into base 64 and you add it right here. Okay, so when you add this text into this box while creating your asset, this is to inform the asset that it gives you the capability of adding your script in the future. So the condition, what you are adding there is just true. It's not going to affect any process. It's just going to be act as if it's a usual asset on the Waves blockchain. But what this does for you is that it gives you the possibility of adding script into that asset in the future. Quickly, we'll be looking at use cases for smart assets. First is it gives you the capability to freeze your assets. There are reasons why a project would freeze assets. For instance, you have a project that has different seed funding or fundraising rounds, and you don't want this asset to be traded or to be transferred until you are done with your funding. You can use smart assets to implement freezing. Okay. Also, whitelisting and blacklisting feature. With the way smart asset, you can be able to define who trades, who sends, who receives, and who interacts with an asset. All this you can implement using with the Waves write language into your asset. Also, with the smart asset, you can be able to task anyone using your asset. That is, you can be able to deduct certain amount of your assets from anyone that is interacting with this asset. Yes, it can be brought into play in several cases. Also, the multi-signature feature. The multi-signature here has to do with if there is more than one person that's going to sign, that's going to approve before a transaction can be broadcasted, before an amount of money can be spent and broadcasted into the Waves blockchain. This can come into play for projects like cooperative societies, whereby the chairman, the secretary, the treasurer might need to sign. Their signatures are needed before a certain amount of money or certain assets can be moved out. Okay, so the smart asset is good in this case. Also, with the smart asset, you can control which cryptocurrency should your asset trade with. With the Waves smart asset, you can define that I want my asset to trade only with BTC. I want my asset to trade only with Ethereum. I want my asset to trade with only USD. I want my asset to trade only with Euro, or I want my asset to trade with only Naira on the Waves blockchain. Okay. Don't forget, if you have a smart asset, it is possible to update and modify your smart asset. So whenever you write, whenever you modify, the new script overrides every other script that has been on the asset. Also, the smart asset can be used in the place of gaming. Yes, game developers can be able to use smart assets in cases whereby they define how many tokens you can receive if you reach a certain condition, how many tokens you can receive if you are from this location, if you are in this level of game. Okay, there's a lot of use cases for the smart assets, and in the comments, in the description section of this video, I'm going to add a link where you see much more use cases for the Waves smart asset. Also, quickly on this whitelist and blacklist, for instance, you have an asset that you want only people that passed your KYC, know your customers procedure. You want only people that are verified to trade your asset. With the whitelist and blacklist feature, you can bring that into play, whereby you are going to whitelist certain Waves addresses, and these Waves addresses, you define what they can do. Now, 100 people passed your KYC process. That means they are the only ones that are eligible to trade your asset, that are eligible to hold or to transfer it. So all you do is you whitelist their Waves address to use your asset, and anyone whose address is not whitelisted cannot interact, cannot trade, and cannot send or receive your assets. I think that's a very cool stuff for any project owner or developer. So we are going to head forward to creating your own smart asset. But quickly before that, I'll tell you the smart asset we are going to create and what it's going to do. We are going to create a smart asset that has a whitelist and blacklist scripts. So what will this script do? We are going to use this script to define who can send, who can receive, and who can trade this your smart asset. So what we'll do right now, we are going to ide.wavesplatform.com. This is where we write and deploy smart contracts on the Waves blockchain. Okay, so let's go, guys.
Now let's look at demoing adding an asset script to our token or our assets to make them smart. So like you've seen in the previous section of the video, smart asset allows you to set controls on how that asset is being used. So we're going to look at the use case of whitelisting addresses to receive or send that token, and also we're going to look at making only one address able to exchange the token. So I'm here in the Waves IDE, which is the Waves online development platform. So we're going to be using Ride, which is the official language used in scripting accounts or writing smart assets or smart accounts in Waves. So I'm going to click on this to create a new file. It's going to be an asset script. So this is going to generate a boilerplate for me with some directives. This is telling me that I'm using the version 2 of the standard library of the Ride blockchain programming language, and the content here is going to be expressions, and it's going to be of the type asset, which is what we want, right? So here I'm going to create two variables, whitelisted account one. I'm going to say address from string. So the address I'd want is this address. I want this address to be able to receive a set token which we've not created yet, and also able to send it. And I'm going to create another address where you said account 2. So these are just variables holding it, and we're using the standard library helpers in Ride. So this address from string will take a string and generate and match it to an address, which is what we want. So also this should be the other recipient of it. So I created this using the generate new account on the Waves IDE. So here, so I'm going to create match. No, I'm just going to match TX. So it's going to be a matcher. So I'm going to say case TX or transfer transaction. So anytime someone wants to transfer this asset, check if that's someone, if the recipient. So I'm going to use another helper. Anyways, I'm going to say address from recipient. It's going to be the tx.recipient. So it's going to check if the recipient is equals to whitelisted account 1 or the recipient is equal to whitelisted account 2. So I'm just going to make this readable. I'm going to put it here. I'll put it there. I'll put it there. Okay. So why it's all highlighting this is because it needs to be exhaustive, right? So we need to put a default case just in case. So for every other kind of transaction, I just want it to be true. So I don't want to check that. All I'm concerned about right now is for transfer transaction. So this is a smart asset script. So I'm going to show while we are coding on the Waves IDE, Waves is already generating the base64 format, which is what we're going to deploy. So I'm going to copy this now and head on to Waves Exchange, and I'm going to sign into Waves Exchange. So I'm in the testnet of Waves Exchange, which allows you to test in a controlled environment, so you won't be really using actual Waves token or actual token. So this will just be like virtual. So it's kind of like a sandbox for development and testing purposes, which is what we need. So I'm going to create a new token right now. I'm going to call it alpha token. Yeah, alpha token. And I'm going to say just decrease decimal. And I want just put in 1 million token. I'm going to say, yeah, this is the most important part of it. So if by default this toggle is not on, so when you click on it, it's going to bring in a box where you could put in the scripts you want to script this asset with. So I'm going to click I understand. So just accepting terms, and I'll generate it. So it's going to pop up Wavekeeper for me to sign this transaction, and I click sign, and I'll send the transaction. If everything goes as planned, our alpha token should have been created. Okay, so if I head on to my wallet right now, I should be able to see the alpha token, right? Pretty easy putting it. All right, so let's try sending this alpha token. Now if you remember, here we said only 2 addresses are whitelisted for transfer transactions, so that means only these this recipient account and also this Domino's account can receive this token. What if I try, say, okay, I want to say, let's test the control. I want to send to the control account. Let's see if that happens. So I just copy the address, and if I click on send now, and I paste it in, and I say, okay, send him 200 of my token, and I click on continue, open WhatsApp now, and it signed it. So, but if I click on send, it shouldn't allow it. So actually not allowed by TokenScript because why? This address is not whitelisted. So this is the use case. Maybe you want your token to send to a particular address. So all you have to do is add it to the script and deploy it. So you could have as much addresses as you want. All right. So I go back now. But what if I copy this address, this account 2, which is this address over here. So so recall we created this address, just creating. So if you want to know how to create new address, just click on generate new account and to generate it for you. Very easy, very developer friendly. So if I click on this now and I paste it here, if I click on continue and I sign it, close. Now if I send it, it should go because that address was whitelisted. So that is it. So if I switch back in to this account, recipients, which I already have open, so I've already signed in here. And if you see now, 200 of the alpha token has been transferred to this account. All right, pretty easy. So lastly, what I want to show you is to restrict exchange of this token. So we could update a token, right? So to restrict exchange of this token, all we have to do is to case ts again, match exchange transactions. So every exchange transaction, check if the tx.sender is equal to the whitelisted account 1. So we want only the account that created this asset to be able to exchange it. So maybe you have a use case for that. So if I click on copy now, I go back to this and switch account to Domino's, which is the account that created it. Okay, switching. Okay. So now let's script it. So this alpha token, let's script it. Let's update the asset script. So if I just paste that in, so it's updated now. So it means that only this account can exchange this on the Waves Exchange trading. Okay, so that's how you do that. So only this account now can trade this token. Now if you go to the trading, okay, I believe I should be able to see it in my wallet, and from there I could trade. So since it's not really an official token, I get it from the portfolio now. Yes, and if I click on trade now, I'm the one that is going to be able to trade this asset. Okay, so yeah, you can see I could trade it. But what I want to do is I want to copy this address and I want to switch accounts to recipient 2. Yeah, and you could see you can't find it here, right? We don't even, it doesn't even show up, and that's because we said that only that account can trade it, so it won't show up for trading. So to quick recap, to create an asset, a smart asset, all you have to do is to script it with an asset script from the Waves IDE. So the asset script is just an expression matching different transactions. So you set your rules based on what you want to do. So for this our use case, we have two whitelisted accounts, and we say for every transfer transaction, if the recipient is not any of these whitelisted accounts, do not allow it. If they are, allow it. Then also lastly, for exchange transaction, we only want the account one to exchange it. But for every other transaction, we want it to be our asset to be able to do that. So that is it, guys. And you now know how to script an asset.